have some 6th grade student ambassadors who are going to share their name. Do you have that microphone? We're going to practice. Who are going to share their name, how long they have been a student at Carroll School, and their favorite part about the middle school.
Hi, I'm Liam.
Let's turn it on. There it is.
Hi, I'm Liam. I've been at Carroll since 4th grade, so this is my 3rd year. And my favorite thing about the middle school is probably the sports.
Hi, my name is London. I've been at Carroll for 4 years, and my favorite thing about Carroll School is probably like the cross-country track.
2 for 2.
Hi, I'm Molly. I've been at Carroll since 3rd grade, that's 4 years.
Molly, hold it closer to your mouth.
So that's 4 years, and my favorite thing about middle school is like we have more independence, but it's like structured.
Hi, my name is Vivian. This is my 1st year at Carroll. My favorite part about the middle school is the drama and the drama class.
Thank you for adding class. Dramas for a separate Zoom next year.
Yeah, the stage.
Hi, my name is Goody, and I've been at Carroll for 2 years. And I don't know what my favorite part is. I think the makerspace is really fun.
Hi, I'm Ryan. This is my 3rd year at Carroll, and my favorite part about the middle school is probably sports.
Hi, my name is Anthony. This is my 1st year, and I think being able to like go to the gym is my favorite part.
I have a lot to do with them. But I've never heard them so quiet either. They are not that quiet.
All right, so something that is extremely important to us as our 5th graders move to the 6th grade, as our lower schoolers move to the middle school, is that this move is as predictable and smooth as possible. And although obviously at Carroll we have the same supports and the same individualized approach, we also understand that as our students and families move to the middle school, they are on a brand new campus, they are seeing brand new faces, they have different opportunities, there are different expectations. And so we really want to make sure that we are being proactive at building bridges and opportunities ahead of time, so that once we receive these families and students, we can do so in a way where you all feel comfortable and safe and know what to expect. And so we really do focus on building these bridges throughout the year before our 5th graders come to the middle school. And I just wanted to talk about a few ways that we try to do this. One being this meeting right here. This is kind of a launching point where we get a chance to connect with you. We get a chance to answer any questions that you may have, and really just a chance for you to be present here on this campus and start getting comfortable. We have academic leaders that are in constant communication throughout the year, discussing student profiles, curriculum, and doing some collaborative work to make sure that our 5th grade students come here with an understanding of how things work here, and so that it isn't such a huge, drastic shift that they're just caught off guard. And so we really are intentional about that collaborative work. We also have teachers that visit lower school classrooms from the middle school to kind of see the landscape of how the classrooms are working, so that we can make adjustments to our classrooms to make sure that we're best supporting students. We have 7th grade mentors that I think starting in the spring,
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, are going to be traveling to the lower school and vice versa to do activities, get to know you activities, and really just building a sense of community with the upcoming sixth graders. And the best part about that is the sixth graders get a chance when they do come in September. They have these eighth graders that they are familiar with, which I think is a really special thing. The first week of school for the sixth graders is really dedicated to building a sense of community and safety. Instantly, they are becoming very comfortable with their homerooms and their advisors, and so that is really their home base. And then we do a lot of community building activities as well to help orient them to the campus and to everything about the middle school. And you will find that within that at the end of that first week, our little sixth graders are now almost like these little middle school experts that can really navigate the campus with comfort and safety. And I actually wanted to ask, I think either London or start with Goody, what was it like when you first came to the middle school?
It was really fun. We got to see everything. We didn't just jump into it right away and just get started with classes. We had, like Mr. Pablo said, a full week where we got to see it. And so we got to sit down on the grass, and they were like, okay, guys, this is it. We're going to do this. And so they actually got a panel out here about like 3 kids, and got to ask them a ton of questions, and then they toured us around the school, and we got to see so many fun things. And we got to meet our advisors, we got to make a little game by the classroom, and I was very nervous that day. I was like, this is it. Oh my God. But then it kind of eased in more, and it was just
And London, can you talk a little bit about when you were in 5th grade and you came over in the spring? Because that we're preparing for that visit now.
I thought it was really big, because like it was, I think it was like, I was so stressed about how like big it was. I travel around the whole thing. But like when I first started, I realized I was getting like better, or like it was easier to navigate. And like when we did the tour, I knew like the places and spots. And when they all that.
Yes, that's a picture from last May. Yeah.
That, and we were sitting down, and Miss Webb was talking about hawks. And I thought hawks was pretty cool. It's something that hawks, like something that we didn't learn yet, was nice. Because like all the rules and stuff were different. Something that we could learn to make Carroll a better like place, and like how to be a better person.
All right. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Copacino. Talk about what feels the same.
So a lot of this will feel very much the same. It's a very similar group of kids, like lots of very smart kids for whom reading, writing, and other language-based skills are hard. A similar class ratio in terms of teachers to students, and really the most important thing is consistent ways of teaching from grade to grade, as everyone here has some fairly significant degree of Fort Gillingham training regardless of class. Behavior expectations are largely the same, though carried out in slightly different, developmentally appropriate ways. And we have worked over the years to make our conduct and dress code consistent between the two schools. In terms of homework, which I know is one of the big questions, it is not that different from the lower school. I believe it's 70 minutes is the max per night. Some kids I teach this year say it was a little more in the lower school. Some say it was a little bit less. But I haven't heard anyone say that the expectation was really, really different, which frankly is our goal because we want it to always be building sequentially.
And just to delve a little bit deeper into some of what Mike was explaining, and I should have mentioned that these slides will be shared too, so you will get all of this information. How many of you have heard of the term GEC? Yep. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective. We use it all over the place. And in this, we're going to share a little bit about how GEC comes with your child to the 6th grade. Zeroing in on academic program. The end of every day for our 6th graders is a time known as NCLU, No Child Left Unorganized. And that is an opportunity for our students to go back to their homeroom, work with their advisors, make sure that their homework planner is filled out, they have everything that they need to be successful in completing their homework, and maybe even start an assignment that they're a little worried about. Or in some cases, they may advocate to go see their math teacher because something isn't clear, or they forgot to write down their homework and they're not exactly sure. Our flex time in 6th grade is also, it's developmentally shifted. So in the lower school, flex is part of the rotating schedule for students. Here in 6th grade, it's a block always after lunch, and it's an opportunity for us to have students engage in targeted cognitive intervention. It's where we teach our health and wellness curriculum. It's an opportunity for us to really dig into our foundations for brave conversations. And tool time. So as you are touring around, I want you to keep your eyes peeled into some of these classrooms for these little wooden toolboxes. Part of that NCLU time and flex time is dedicated to directly and explicitly teaching students executive functioning skills that lead to becoming an effective self-advocate and a strategic learner. And I heard someone mention the makerspace. Every student builds a toolbox in the makerspace, and as they earn their tools, they can earn makerspace laser cut tools that they're adding to their toolbox. Another way that GEC comes to 6th grade is through our multis program. We're going to tour the different multi-spaces. There's visual art, makerspace, PE, which we've heard about. Our Bounders program is expanded. We'll take a walk through our Bounders Woods area. And then we have here, you can see performing arts. And so although our 6th grade, we try and keep them in this building on the 2nd and 3rd floor here, there are opportunities for our students to be walking around campus. I mentioned earlier that we have a dedicated counselor for our 6th grade. We also have a dedicated speech-language pathologist in every grade at the middle school. And that speech and language pathologist becomes really, really instrumental in pushing into classes and supporting teachers and supporting teams in developing action plans that make sure that specific accommodations or modifications are put in place for students as needed. Our focus area model, another opportunity, another way for us to really get. Many of your students are in maybe a one-on-one Orton-Gillingham tutorial for focus area. Maybe they're in a pair. Perhaps some of them are in a small group. As students move to the middle school, we see a lot more opportunity for group learning. We do have students who are in one-on-one OG as needed, but we are so fortunate that so many of our students are coming from the lower school, having developed really great skills. In particular, some of those level 1 and 2 Orton-Gillingham concepts, that they're ready to work in a more collaborative environment. And we get the benefit of seeing some real tremendous growth and strength come out of these collaborative opportunities. In addition to Orton-Gillingham, our focus area model is expanded. We know through research, the science of reading tells us once a student has developed coding skills, we've got to be focused on some of those other areas like comprehension, fluency, vocabulary development, writing. And so our focus area offerings really expand to include some of those other areas of focus. In fact, we have some students who are also in math focus areas. When that becomes highlighted as their greatest area of need, that's what we will do. All right, student ambassadors. I think I've got, Anthony is going to talk a little bit about what it's like having science and history class. I'm going to have Anthony and Molly talk about that because that is a difference in the lower school. The lower school does not have dedicated science and history, and in 6th grade, that is part of the schedule.
So I don't really know what the 5th grade looked like, but at my old school, we didn't really have science and history either. It was just all kind of clumped up. So I think it's really cool. But when I first started, I thought it was weird because I was like, why am I going to different classes? Excuse me. But after my second week, and I started making more friends, it was nice. And it was a plus because I also loved my history and science teacher. So that's my thoughts, basically.
Thanks, Anthony. All right, Molly, talk about the differences between 5th and 6th.
So in 5th grade, I think they have science 2 days a week. It's as one of their specials. And when you come here, you have science every day of the week. And then, of course, you have Friday, AM and PM, where you switch off. But you have it at least 4 days a week. And it's the same with history. My history teacher, I don't know where he went, is Mr. Kaka. And it's a really good history class. We learned a lot. We're learning about ancient Egypt. We did debate. And in science, the difference between, there's not many differences besides the schedules. And your history and science teacher will switch off days they do homework, so you don't have a ton of homework every night but for both of those classes. And there's not that many differences from the lower school science. Both of the science teachers here are really amazing, just like Miss Sandbar. They're really good science teachers. If I had either one of them, I'd be happy. I have Mr. Malley. He's the best teacher. And I don't know, the science is just really good, and so is the history.
Great, thanks. And Vivian, you're going to talk a little bit about what are maps and what is a misstep and how are they helpful to you?
So MAP notices stand for make a plan. It's for when kids forget to charge their computer or forget to bring in their binder or forget to do their homework. And so it's basically a structure where if you get 3 of those, then you get to meet with your advisor. And those are really helpful because you get to they're helpful because sorry, I'm saying a lot. Trying to stop. They're really helpful because you can, if you forget your I'm sorry, if you forget your Chromebook or something, or forget to charge it, then your teacher will say, all right, we're gonna assign you a MAP notice. So like I said, 3 of those equals, or you talk with your advisor and you make a plan on how we can prevent this from happening again. So you have create a schedule, and the schedule will be first you eat dinner, then you do your homework, and then you charge your computer, and that's really good. And then missteps are where I think it's something behavioral. I don't. It's not very common.
There's no drama. Well, actually, can I actually, sorry to interrupt it, can one of our ambassadors tell us what HAWKS stands for? What is HAWKS? How about somebody we haven't heard from? Either Ryan or Liam?
HAWKS stands for honesty, accountability, kindness, safety.
Yep, safety
Safety
and work ethic.
and work ethic.
Great. And just to make the connection between missteps and HAWKS, if a student is really struggling to meet the expectations of those core values of honesty, accountability, work ethic, kindness, and safety, we have a process by which, again, rather than just being punitive, it's a more supportive approach in helping students meet those expectations. Great.
Super. This is me. So these are some student programs, and I think Vivi, you're going to talk about this with me, right? So we have, as Allison and Liam just mentioned, something called Hawks. And Hawk Spotted is when someone does something to help out somebody else in the community, and we want to recognize someone doing a great thing and give them, some support and also role model what it's like to go out of your way or be a beneficiary of something that's kind, or for a teacher to, make sure to emphasize something that somebody's done that's nice. We also have Hawk's Nest. So this is a way for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to be in a little community to do some fun, challenging activities and get to know kids that are not in your grade, and a little bit of mentoring, a little bit of, I know this 7th and 8th grader, if you're a 6th grader, and get out there and meet some other teachers too. So, so that's something that I think we just did last week or right before vacation, and maybe you can talk maybe when you come up.
Well, this is with that newspaper challenge.
Oh yes, this is one of the challenges there.
Fashion show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I would buy that. Extended day, just like you have in the lower school, we have a very popular extended day. Coach will talk a little bit more about some of those offerings, but most of our kids are in extended day at some point in the year, either for sports or study hall.
Or non-athletic.
Yeah, or in the drama program. And then student council, we have a very strong student council program that runs different fundraising events and community service events and rallying events, and different ways to get the community together and do fun things. And we have elections and campaigning and different things that you might have. I think, what is the last thing we had?
We just did we have a few student
Yeah, we have
council
6th grade reps.
and reps. What was the last thing we did at any of our student
I
council?
sold candy grams.
For what?
For Valentine's Day, we had candy grams. So you either could turn in 1 can for 1 candy gram, or you could do $1 for 1 candy gram. So like if a kid gave me $10, I would give them 10 candy grams. And then at the end of the day, I would go and turn them in, and then I didn't do the lollipop thing, because that seems like a lot of work. But at the end of the day, I would go and turn in all the money, give them all the candy grams we made, and all the food, and the cans are going to a food drive.
Yeah. And the money too.
We also hosted a wildly popular after New Year's party / dance.
Yeah, and you had to do all the planning and organization and publicizing of that, and so that was a great leadership experience too. And then we also have different affinity and alliance groups during the year, depending on students' passions and what might be important for kids, led by a teacher in the school, and then maybe also doing some community service around that. The under pouches, everyone's favorite thing in the world. Do you not have these in the lower school? No, they don't have any issues.
But we
Right?
love them here.
So they are something that students will get in the beginning of the year, and they keep their phone in that. And you can see it has this magnetic closing device. So this stays in their backpack. Their phone stays in here, and their backpack locked. And then at the end of the day, they go buy this thing and unlock their pouch. And so it stays in there. This is an expectation. Mr. Copacino has a 6th grade band keeping their yonder pouches, their phones in their yonder pouches.
I haven't seen a phone all year, and I'm not like exaggerating.
Do you guys sell those to begin with?
Well, I'll tell you what. We have had some kids who've gone home with the pouches locked, and so there's 2 solutions. They're purposely not indestructible, so I mean you can cut it open if you need it, but then you have to pay $25 for a replacement. Or the natural consequence is your phone is locked up for 24 hours. Yeah.
But yeah, we can look and see if there's a family deal. And then, sorry, can I say something else?
Just
I'm going to give it to Betty. All right. And then, do you want to talk about what clubs are? And what, so we have clubs about once a month on AM Fridays. And what are some of the things you can do?
So you can do a variety of things. You can do games. You can do art. I did archery. It was really fun. And then I also did knitting club. It's a really relaxing, fun club to do. And yeah, Like, I know some people go to football club or singing club. Yeah, and it's just really fun. You get to do it, and it's at the end of the day, and then after clubs are done, you can just leave.
Excellent, thank you. All right, we'll go to the next slide.
All right, and this is that.
All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Carroll's whole child approach, and this is something we hope to do in all of our divisions. And I think of this just as a way of recognizing that when your amazing kids come in the door, they don't just bring their beautiful brains, they bring like all parts of themselves. So their lived experiences, their identities, their interests outside of school, their communities, they come from everywhere. And we really want to create a sense of belonging and connection when kids are here. And we also want to recognize all the different parts of their lives that we want to affirm and support as they move through middle school. So some of the ways that we do that, we continue to use responsive classroom, which some of you may be familiar with from the lower school, but it's really, it's less of a curriculum and more of an educational philosophy that blends social, emotional, and academic learning. So there may be structures like having a morning meeting where we're building community, we're working on skills, we're helping kids have fun together. And it also is a way that we as educators and as caring adults can have some consistency in how we use, it's referred to as teacher language, but how we talk to kids in order to reinforce skills and behaviors that we want to flourish, and how we help make adjustments when there are behaviors that aren't serving kids or serving the learning environment well. We use a lot of collaborative structures. I hope, this is going to sound funny to you all, but I hope at some point in middle school everybody maybe does get a misstep, because I think it's a great experience to make a mistake and have the support of an adult to learn from it, and we do it too. So sometimes, you know, kids feel really afraid to get a misstep, but honestly, usually it's just a way to connect with an adult and to be reflective and to understand, you know, choices and impact and how to sort of move forward through those things. So that does sort of get into also our restorative practices. We've been training small groups and sort of rolling out restorative practices in education. It comes from restorative justice. So it's really, again, sort of a way that when somebody has done something in a community that has maybe been hurtful or harmful, we want to really support restoration and repair whenever possible. And so there's some foundational practices where we do a lot of circle work and really work as a community to be able to really authentically listen and sort of share with one another. And then there are some circles where once we're familiar with that structure, when there's been some sort of incident of hurt or harm, we can kind of come together in this familiar way and talk about what happened and what we were thinking and feeling at the time, and what have we thought about sense and who was impacted and how do we repair, because when something happens we still want to be a community and be able to have a pathway forward. So we've been trying to really use these restorative practices. We have a great health and wellness program in all 3 grades. In 6th grade, we really focus on self-regulation and the zones of regulation. I think y'all just had a morning meeting yesterday, or this week, where you talked a little bit about the zones. So it's just sort of a way to develop like an emotional vocabulary and understand how we're feeling at different times and what we may need to kind of make adjustments if our energy level or our feelings isn't a match for what we're asked to do. So do we need something energizing or something calming, or do we need to talk something out, or what are the skills and strategies to just kind of stay regulated throughout the day? And then our counseling support, I think one of the great things about the counseling model at Carroll is that we have a team, and so we have dedicated counselors for various grades. So in 6th grade, we have Christine Feary, who couldn't be here today, but is a wonderful counselor. And our model is really to be in the heart of the various grades. So her office is right in the middle of the floor, and we try and really know every single student and get to know students at the beginning of the year, help students make adjustments to middle school, help new students form relationships with returning students. And then we're available for just support and problem solving with kids and helping kids kind of develop skills and strategies for managing worries or working out, friendship, drama, even outside the drama class. And so I hope that our counselors are really accessible to kids and also to parents. We love to partner with parents, and we love to hear how we can best support your kids. So I think, Vivian, do you want to talk about how the counselors at Carroll can be available to help kids?
Yeah, thanks. They're really, so like you said, Christine's room is like right smack in the middle, so I feel like if you're in like one class, then you can go to Christine, and honestly, her room's always open too. Like, even if you just need to like a quiet place to like study and stuff, her room's there, and it's honestly a really nice and calming place to go. She has fidgets, and even just there to talk too, and yeah, honestly, it's a great, it's a really nice and safe space.
That's awesome. Do kids ever take breaks in class? When
Yeah.
they need to like
If
reset?
they need to. Yeah. Also, her room's there to like, if you need a different room to work in class. Like, I know in history, then we can go in Christine's room if like no one's in there. She's like, and I feel like she'll almost always say yes. And we can work in there. And if the kids are taking a test, then she'll be like, oh, my room's open. And she's just very nice.
Thank you.
Right. I don't want you to trip now. So, I hope so far you're thinking to yourself, okay, this sort of feels like 5th grade plus a day, and then maybe a week, and then a month. And I hope that what you're hearing is that there's a lot of intention around how we do build this bridge and really support the transition into middle school. So just to highlight some of what we heard so far and add a few more details, we do have more students. 6th grade will be about 80 students, which means we will welcome a little more than 20 new students to the 6th grade community. And everybody is new to this campus. And I have to be honest with you, by the 2nd week, I have to really think hard about who is a new Carroll student and who is coming from the lower school. The 6th grade team does a really terrific job really working on building that community. 6th graders are doing a tremendous amount of goal setting and reflecting. In their June conferences, for example, here's a little preview. We have student-led conferences, and so a lot of the year, and a lot of the time over the 6th grade year is really spent helping students build their capacity to set goals and reflect, and communicate those goals. I do want to point out just one little difference too in our middle school model. Lower school has 165 students, we have 245 students. So if you just do the maths, that means we have little less time to get through some of the great conversations that need to have in conferences. So this is just a little preview that while the lower school has more time for their conferences, in the middle school, as we're scheduling ours, we do have less time. However, I share that and also let you know we are open and available to meet anytime. So if you are finding as you are entering the 6th grade scene that you need that time and space to have a conversation, we welcome that, and we actually really appreciate that. I explained a little difference, the differences in the focus area model. And Mr. Copacino explained that the homework expectations do increase by about 10 minutes. It doesn't feel, I think, like it's a ton. But I do think Ryan here is going to share a little bit about what homework does feel like in 6th grade.
Honestly, it's not a big jump. It's just like,
How about having to add history and science homework? Did that feel like a big deal?
yeah, you can, if there's like ed puzzles for you to do, and sometimes like a worksheet, sometimes it can be like a double-sided page. or something on your computer. If you're
What happens if you're stuck on your homework? If you get home and you realize you're having trouble, what can you do?
Just take a. They can just take a break for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then go back and do it again.
Great.
Yeah.
Anything else about homework? Would anybody else like to add anything about homework? Go ahead, Anthony. Thank you.
If you're also stuck and you take a break, but you still don't know like the material fully, you can email your teachers and tell them if it's like maybe like 6 or something. You can email them and they might give you a response, but but if it's like 9, then you can just say, I don't know the material. So can you help me tomorrow in class? And usually the next morning, pretty early, they're like, okay, sure. Personally, I don't see those because I'm not looking on my email that early. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great. I think Vivian had something to add too. You got it?
My teacher, he makes us work, well, most of my teachers, they make us work at least for like 20 straight minutes. And if you're doing it like late, then if you work on it for 20 straight minutes, like you can set like a timer for yourself, and then they'll just count that. Like even if you don't finish the worksheet or you don't finish your whole homework, then they'll just make you work on it for that amount of time. And if you don't get it all through, then we'll go over it the next day. And so it's not a lot of pressure.
Oh, you had something to add, Ryan? Excellent.
For some classes, that they give you a reference sheet for if you get stuck. You can go back on your reference sheet and look at just what to do.
And actually, this leads into nicely our next question. I think, Molly, you were going to start us off on this. All 6th graders get their own Chromebook. So in 5th grade right now, I believe 5th graders use Chromebooks that are school-based Chromebooks, but in 6th grade, they become the students' Chromebooks. So Molly's going to talk a little bit about how Chromebooks are used at school and home.
So at school, we use them in classes, and you have to make sure they're charged or you can get a math notice. It's really not that hard to remember that they're to charge your Chromebook, but you can put it in your like homework planner. You can put it in your homework planner, and in classes we use them to help us learn. If you're like Mr. Cobble, my history teacher, we watch Ed puzzles a lot in class, and we read paragraphs and answer questions, and it helps us learn about it. And then at home, you use it for your homework if you have homework assigned online. And if you don't have homework assigned online, then you can just plug it in and shut it off for the night.
Great. Thanks. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Coach Kmetz now, who's going to talk a little bit. Oh, we have rally points. Did you want to say anything about the rally points?
No, we'll just go right to Coach Kmetz to make sure we have enough time.
We can talk about the rally points on our tour.
Yes.
Coach is going to talk a little bit about extended day and multis, and then maybe we have time for 2 or 3 questions for the panel, and then we're going to split up and head off onto tours. Okay?
So, rally points. Oh, there we go. You recognize any of those guys? I know. All right, good. So, I want to talk about a couple of different points right now. One is our multis program. Similar to the lower school, we have physical education, we have art, we have music, we have makers and bounders. And the students rotate in a 8-term rotation.
And drama.
Did I think that one up? And drama, that's where we are. So when they come to the middle school, we do a rotation. So in 6th grade, students get 2 terms of performing arts, drama and music. They have 2 terms of makerspace, so they get to learn the equipment and how it all works. They get 2 terms of physical education. They have 1 term of bounders and 1 term of physical, 1 term of art. And then in 7th grade, it rotates a little bit different. So by the time they finish in 8th grade, they're well-rounded with all the multi-subjects. In extended day, we're going to talk the whole picture, because I see there's athletics up there right now. Monday through Thursday, we have many different sports and activities. In the fall, we start off with soccer, where we play soccer over at our Wayland campus. If you haven't seen that, it's worth the take. They're gorgeous soccer fields, lacrosse fields over there. Cross country is here in Lincoln. It's a 2-mile race through our conservation land just behind the school. It's wonderful, isn't it, Lincoln? Yeah. Flag football, and we have a couple of flag football players here this year. Intramural golf, we go off to Stone Meadow in Lexington and play there 2 days a week. And then new next year, we're going to introduce volleyball. So we're going to have a volleyball program next year. They're all interscholastic. We do play other schools, similar size like us, and we play grade level games. So 6th graders normally will play another 6th grade team, and so on as they progress. In the winter, we have basketball and ice hockey. Again, grade level. How many guys played basketball this year? How about hockey? Anybody play hockey? Yeah, Ryan played everything so far this year. And moving on to the spring, lacrosse, boys and girls lacrosse, track and field, ultimate frisbee, which is very popular. If you've never played it, it's a great sport. And then again, we will do intramural golf again in the spring. So, and then other activities that we have, and we're blessed that many of our multi-teachers also will offer a club or activity in the afternoon, such as art or bounders, performing arts, supervised study is pretty popular, so students get a jump on their homework. So these are all run all year round, basically. So, and unlike the lower school, you sign up for an activity at the middle school. If you want more art, you could sign up for art. If you want more bounders or more drama, you could sign up for that and have it after school. And that all runs from 3:10 when school lets out till 4:45. Anything else? Oh, any questions?
Yeah. I think we have time for maybe 2 to 3 questions that maybe can be geared towards our student ambassadors here, and then after that we'll move on our tours where we can continue to answer questions. Yes.
I saw the last bullet point was other clubs and activities. Some of the students share, are there various ones that are student-led, or they come up with their own ideas, or what teachers offer outside of what was on the list?
Does anybody want to talk about either a club or an extended day option that was different, that wasn't mentioned yet?
So there's Slime Club, which is it's a big club. I'm not in it. I'm in singing club. There's also Nail Art Club, which was a really big hit. Everyone wanted to be Nail Art Club. But yeah. There's also there's knitting, and there's a bunch of sports clubs, and
There's jewelry club. I'm in active games club. It's a lot of boys. But it's fun. It's fun. And if it's too cold, we can watch movies.
Liam, how about you? Any clubs or extended day that weren't mentioned?
There's a football club and an archery club that I think was mentioned before, but it's all flag football, and usually the games are like set up by the kids and not so much the adults.
Great. Other questions? Oh, sorry, Beth.
There's also disc golf club. I'm not in that, but my advisor runs disc golf club. He really likes disc golf. He watches it like a lot.
Any other questions? Yes, another question.
Is there a way to be part of a club and play on a team sport, or do they do both?
Yeah, so unless it's like an after-school club, we have clubs on Fridays at the end of the day, so that's not going to affect sports or like after-school activities. So like I did soccer this fall. My soccer was Monday through Thursday every day after school, and yeah, so you can do a club at the same time while doing an after-school activity, because after-school activities are a different time.
The non-athletic after-school extended day activities generally run 2 days. So if you're in a sport, usually you're in a sport for that session, but maybe...
But there's 3 sessions, so if there's a time that I want to try art, you could do art during another session, winter or spring.
Also, if you want to do the play and play sports, the play is mostly in the season between the winter and spring sports, so then you might miss the first week or 2 of spring sports, but beyond that you get the full experience of both.
Do you have to try out to be on a team that's playing other schools?
That is a great question.
Wait, actually, could one of these, I think maybe Ryan could speak to if you need to try out.
You need to try out?
Well,
Not exactly.
you can just join it. You're still on a team, but they'll just put you when you're on the flag football team, they put you on a varsity or a JV team. 6th graders automatically make JV, and 8th graders automatically make varsity, and 7th graders get split up.
Did you know anybody who tried out a sport for the first time here who hadn't played that sport outside of school?
There's one person that did. He was on my team, and
Middle school is a great place to try out an activity if you've never done it before. It's safe. We always make them grade level for the most part. As Ryan said, 6th graders will always play with 6th graders. And that's the way we want to keep it, especially for some of the sports that have contact, like lacrosse and hockey, flag football. We like to keep everybody on the same level and speed.
I'm just going to share a quick anecdote, because my favorite story of a student trying sport for the first time was a couple of years ago, an 8th grader, Max, really wanted to try hockey for the first time. I don't know how many of you are hockey parents, but like if you don't get on the ice by the time you're like 2, it's kind of hard to pick up hockey. Well, this 8th grader really wanted to do it, and to coach's credit, I will say, we truly are a no cut. If a kid expresses an interest, they're playing that sport. And this kid came, having not skated before, with, a play it again, a cacophony of play it again sports equipment. And over the course of the season, learned how to skate.
He was also wrapped in bubble wrap.
But learned how to skate, learned how to play hockey. And I was fortunate enough to be at the game where they played at Lars Anderson. And his teammates had crafted this plan. I don't know if you've ever seen Mighty Ducks, like the V. And I kid you not, they created a V, and he scored his first goal, and I was like on the ground, dying. So truly, if you have a child who has been like, oh darn, I never got on that soccer train, like now it is not too late.
And I would second that with this year you have Anna, who's never been a goalie
Yes.
in hockey, and she is a goalie on the hockey team. this
And
year.
crushing
Well,
it.
we got her in a few games, and she was
Yeah.
very excited.
It's a place where you can put yourself out there and try some new things, and meet other kids too. And maybe you have a friend that you don't get to see during the day as much, but you get to see them after school. But it's
All
not
right, we have
required.
2 more questions here, and then we'll split up, and you can, if you have any questions, you can still ask as we're touring around. Yes?
What do you plan to baseball?
Baseball.
We're looking to have a baseball club next year. Baseball takes up a lot of space, and we don't have that right now. I am a baseball kid. I grew up playing baseball, and I would love to have baseball here. The logistics right now are tough. We're working there.
You have the coaching.
Yes?
I just have a question about homework again. So I'm curious if there's time during the school day. I know you said there's after school, there's study hall, students choose that, but is there any time during the school day to either get a start on homework or ask questions? I know you said if you don't know how to do something,
Study and wait your turn to answer
Yeah,
that
but
question.
they're very excited to answer that question. We'll start with Anthony, and then maybe 1 or 2 more.
So, there's lunch study, which during lunch you can go to a classroom. I forgot which one.
I think Miss St. John's, right? Oh, 2. It's very popular. We have 2 spaces.
And there, instead of having lunch down here or outside if it's nice enough, you can go up into one of those classrooms and start your homework while you eat. Which is also, I haven't done it, but I might do it just so I can say, I've done this. Yeah. That's the main part I can see during school.
Cody, did you have something to add?
I go to lunch study literally every day. It's so fun. You get to eat lunch, socialize, and then you can get started on homework. There's a nice quiet time, and lots of people come in, and we call them newbies. They come in and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna eat. Sometimes they don't even eat. They just come in, do their homework, and then they leave. And we're like, no, it's not how you do it. You socialize, you eat, then you do your homework, and it's really fun.
I know that, so my math teacher, he gives us time to work on our homework, in class. He'll give us time after class, not after class, but if we have extra time, at the end of class, then we could work on it. And usually I end up getting it done in that amount of time, and most kids end up getting it done in that amount of time. And also I go to lunch study a couple sometimes, and on, I think it's Tuesdays or Thursdays, there's music day, and we get Tuesdays. There's music day. We get to listen to music and jam out.
All right, I am going to ask us to pause so we can break up into some groups. And I believe if I counted correctly, we're going to stick to groups of about 8 to 10.